Honestly, I remember when I was in year 7 and then I went for like school orientation. There were a couple of boys that were bullying me. They
You
said,
didn't want to
you
go to
can't
school
speak
anymore. You didn't
well.
want to wear your hearing
Yeah.
aids anymore. It was one terrible time for
Yeah.
myself and your mom.
They actually called me to a group of guys. I remember vividly.
Yeah.
And they said, okay, pronounce sit down.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't understand. Hi everyone, welcome to Sound Through My Lens, a storytelling series where I have conversations with different disabled people sharing their stories, but also the gatekeepers and the people who kind of just make us who we are and impact our lives. Today I have my speech therapist, Auntie Grace, on here, and I'm so excited to have this conversation, not just because of the massive impact that she's had on my life and in my life, but also because I also get quite a lot of questions online about the impact of speech therapy as a deaf person and just what that journey was like for me.
Hey, yippee. I'm super excited to be here too, Yo-Yo. Okay, so I'm Grace Bamigboye, a speech and language pathologist, simply put. So I have over 30 years experience working with children with different developmental delays. First degree was special education chemistry, and then I went on to do a master's in chemistry, um, speech pathology, and then a PhD in speech pathology. So I also went ahead to pick up some certificate courses in autism spectrum disorder from University of Texas, Arlington. It was, a certificate course. Introduction to autism and managing autism spectrum disorder, just to have like a very good knowledge of different developmental disabilities as they evolve. As a young therapist, hearing impairments and Down syndrome were the major forms of disability that we look out for.
So my first question is, what made you get into speech therapy?
Oh, let me say by providence or by supreme divine connection. Let me put it like that. I was preparing to go in for medicine actually, but I have a stepbrother. He got into school before me, and his roommate was studying special education. And first level, the first thing they will do is to take them for a trip. So my stepbrother was so excited to go on the trip. And once he went there and saw the children, he came back home and said, don't do medicine. I know you will be very good with this set of children. I went on a field trip with my roommates and you will be good. And of course, my mother was asking, why do you think she's good? I said, you don't know her. She used to wait at the gate with food to give it to people with, yeah, no, yeah. So when I see someone with disability or someone with maybe, some of them were mentally deranged, adults that have some form of psychosis. And there's a particular one that used to sing, and I love dancing. She sing, oh, si, kakayo, geramo. That was the song. Even in my sleep, I wake up. I'll go to the kitchen, pick up food, and give it. So he saw me do that, and he just felt the children he saw were like that. That you will be good. That's why I said just by divine connection. So I have no regrets being a special needs specialist.
So that leads me to my next question, which I know you're so excited to answer about, which is, can you tell me about our first sessions together?
Wow.
What was that like?
So, yeah, of course, every referral will start with another parent who had a good story to tell. She reached out to them and they gave her my contact. And then she came to the clinic for the concern that, look, this is my daughter. She's very active. She's healthy. She jumps around a lot, but her speech is not coming as expected. It's highly delayed. That was when you were 5 years old, by the way. And then the teachers
I
were
think I
always
was
complaining.
4.
4, yeah?
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
4.
4
Yeah,
going 5, maybe.
I was 4. Yeah,
Okay,
4
yeah.
going 5.
5.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So you were always, I mean, the concern was that you don't respond promptly
Mm-hmm.
and that you were stubborn. That
Oh my God,
yeah, yeah,
yes.
that you were stubborn, that you were willful, that you only want to do things when you want to do it. And I'm like, was she well potty trained? They said yes. There was no issue with potty training. She did that very well. Does she play with other kids? Yes, she plays very well with other kids. What does she like doing? Oh, she likes her own space, doing her own thing and all of that. Just that when you want to call her, she will feign like she didn't hear you. And we know she can hear. Say no. No, you can't just say she can hear. Because they now say, okay, it's like she's selective with what she wants to respond to. That
Wow.
she's selective. And I think it's because she's just willful. I said, no, I've gotten that feedback from parents over time that you never can tell that unless you do a proper test,
Mm-hmm.
formal test, you check out those things that are responsible for not talking as expected. Usually, the first thing is you rule out the hearing loss. After hearing loss, after you're able to rule out the hearing loss, then you can look at some developmental behavioral deficits that might
Mm-hmm.
be, because you have some children, they can hear very well, but behaviorally, like children with attention deficits, children with autism, they will not respond, not because they cannot hear. So your mom was like, really? Yeah, I said yes. So let's do the hearing. So we did the audiometry test. That's what you call it, which you responded very well. But it shows that you had a conductive hearing loss, which was significant enough to impair your speech. So she was like, what can we do? Is there a solution? I said, yes, it's going to use hearing aids. She said, so be it. And that's how we ordered for your first hearing aids.
Oh my
Yes.
goodness.
So she didn't even wait. And immediately the hearing aid came in and you put on the hearing aid. Even the molds were delayed. So we have to use the rubber tip that
Oh
didn't seal
wow,
properly.
yeah.
So immediately you heard sound better. Your containers that day,
Changed.
I could not forget the containers in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Immediately I put on the hearing aid for you. You were like, it was like you moved out from one realm to another realm.
Yeah.
You were asking your mommy, talk. You were telling your mommy to say something.
Oh my
And then you
gosh.
will look at her with surprise, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So we all actually started crying.
Oh my
The way
gosh.
you responded was like night and day.
I have two questions. The transition from now hearing to now learning how to pronounce sounds,
Oh,
and were there moments where you could see me not just struggling with sounds, but my deaf identity?
of
Because I
course.
had moments, I remember and I know we'll get there, but honestly, I remember when I was in year seven
Yeah,
and I had just gotten in there, and then I went for like school orientation, and there were a couple of boys that were bullying me. They
yeah.
saw me. I don't know if you remember
Very
this.
well.
And they
You
said,
didn't want to
you
go to
can't
school
speak
anymore. You didn't
well.
want to wear your hearing
Yeah.
aids anymore. It was one terrible time for
Yeah.
myself and your mom
They were like,
because,
You can't speak well." They actually called me to a group of guys. I remember vividly.
yeah,
And it was on a staircase. And we were sleeping in the Grange hostel that
yeah,
weekend. And they said, okay, pronounce sit down.
yeah, yeah,
And I was like, I don't understand. So
yeah.
it seemed there had been some kind of discourse around them.
Them,
So
yeah.
I feel like my anger and my
Your
quote
usual,
unquote crash out
yeah,
came from the
your
fact
came.
that like people were learning like things like what is the law of gravity, and I'm still here
Yeah,
understanding how to pronounce to say sit down.
correct.
I felt like that was a very difficult
It
process
was,
for
it
me.
was, it
But I
was.
love to know from your
Yeah.
perspective what that was like.
Yeah, it was a big struggle, especially to get you to understand that those things will happen. Because for you, it was very new because kids can be mean.
Mhm.
So when you were quite younger with the younger kids, I think they more just like look at it and they just move on. But that year seven was like a complete switch
Yeah.
for you. It was one terrible transition at that point because, like I said, some kids can be mean,
Yeah.
you know, and then I hope they've had a change of mind for now and they've learned something, because I'm sure by now you shocked them.
Honestly.
Then it was a lot of struggle for you. I remember you not wanting to go to school. I remember your mommy asking me to go to the school to talk to the school to let them understand the dynamics surrounding your hearing aid, that you need it to hear, and also to get you to understand that you just have to develop thick skin. It was hard to communicate to a year seven student
Yeah.
just at 10 years, 11 years that, look,
Mhm.
you need to develop tough skin. I wonder if you even understand what it is to develop tough skin.
No.
And what's in your face is that you have these boys who are on your case, who probably had like a like a meeting,
Mhm.
understanding that, check her out. I'm sure things that were happening would be, look, she's not talking very well.
Yeah.
Go and ask her. Tell her to say something.
Mhm.
You will see. Look at what she's wearing. I'm so such kind of thing would have happened behind the scene.
Mhm.
And they probably betted. You were not just having it. You're not going to have it with people staring at you, because the only statement on your lips when you come home was, Mommy, they are staring at me. Auntie Grace, they were staring at me. And
Wow.
I don't want it. So many of them, you would list their name one by one, they're just staring at you and they would take their eyes away from you. You were not just having it. So, what's making them stare at you was your hearing aid. So, you are not having your hearing aids on, case closed.
Oh my God, I'm actually getting emotional because I think it's so interesting
Yeah.
because I had a mom reach out to me. I think this was in like 2021 or 2022.
Okay.
She said her daughter had been diagnosed with hearing loss. They live in America, and um she doesn't want to wear her hearing aids. Like, she feels very scared, but that, she watches my videos online
Mm-hmm.
where, I'm talking about hearing loss and how I'm proud to wear my hearing aids. And it really inspires her. She would love for me to send a voice note for her to play to her daughter,
Yeah.
who she hopes will then start wearing the hearing aids, which I did.
Yeah.
And she then came back to say that, she had started wearing her hearing aids.
Awesome.
And I just think, like, as people, we need to be kinder,
Yeah, and
because you
supportive.
you see someone go to school
Yeah.
and just leave,
Yeah.
but then you don't know that they're coming back home and
Yeah.
they're like, I'm receiving so much attention.
True.
And if it was positive attention, I'd be like, cool, but it wasn't.
Yeah. Okay.
And I know that it damaged me self-esteem wise. Like, I
True.
didn't feel confident in my hearing loss
True.
for a very,
For a
very
very
long
long time. I'm
time.
surprised now that you are doing it. In fact, it's like night and day. And
Oh
when you
my
called me,
God.
I'm like, yo,
What?
talking about her hearing loss. From she
That
slept in
was why
another.
I thought you were the perfect person to actually talk about this with, because I think people see me now and they think it's always just been a fantastic upward journey, but there's been a lot
There are
of
a lot
up
of
and
ups and
downs.
downs, a lot of, trust me,
Mhm.
just like for every parent, there are so many things why kids won't accept their hearing aids. The first one is the stigmatization,
Mhm.
where people will like, what's that? It's even easier to wear hearing aids now because of the
Yes.
blue thing,
And it's also
Bluetooth.
invisible.
Exactly. Yeah,
Yes.
the Bluetooth things.
Oh yeah, I
Many
have
people wear
Bluetooth.
their
Yeah.
Bluetooth. You understand? They wear, I mean, people with regular hearing, normal hearing, they use Bluetooth now with their phones.
Yeah.
So
So people assume that
now,
it's a
now I
Bluetooth
think with the
device.
thing with the hearing aids, I think it's more acceptable now. But in
Yeah.
your
Time it
your
was
time,
not.
no, 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 no,
It
no. It
wasn't.
wasn't. Number one, they are bigger. The sizes were bigger.
They were
They were
massive.
massive. And the way she said it, they were
They
massive. Yeah,
were
you could see
massive.
that thing is
I
taking.
actually have one upstairs. I still have it just to like look at
Yeah, you
how
said the way she said
different
they were
they were
massive.
huge. And I'm like, it's different if it was even a bit more like, because sometimes you just want to enter a room and say, hi, my name is Toyosi. But every single time, what's that on your ear?
Yes, that's
And
it.
like, they're not asking in a bad way because
Yes,
they're
yes,
kids. But
yes,
like, then everybody turns and
yes.
looks and it's like, really and truly, what's
True.
that on your ear?
Yes, true.
And I'm like, they're hearing it. They're like, eh? Are you Nigerians? What?
What's
I'm like,
hearing
oh,
aid?
I
And you know, they just start to engage you. Some of
yes.
them will even want to
They
touch it.
touch
And
it.
hearing aid were
You
so
feel like a
expensive.
zoo animal or something.
Yes.
Like,
Like an
honestly, that's
alien.
how I felt.
You're
Like,
like an alien.
yes.
Yeah, I've gotten that feedback from many of my friends. You know, they become like, in every gathering, they are like the first subject of interest or conversation.
Right?
Another big challenge were the fact that those hearing aids were imported. They weren't, available here in Nigeria. So the company I worked for then were like sole distributor of most of the best hearing aids of our time. So the waiting time was so long. I mean, not hearing for like 8 weeks, sometimes even more, because you have the customs. Sometimes they will hold down the products. It's gone back and forth. The company over there, they usually send them immediately, but the customs here are usually the problem. To clear it, yes, to clear it, they come up with all sorts of story. Is it like a micro bomb? Is it, the education is not there. You tell them it's hearing aid, they cannot fathom it. That what
Can
are
you
you talking about?
imagine?
Yeah, so ignorance was a big
And
challenge.
lack of education.
Lack of education, yeah, it was a big challenge with bringing in the hearing aids like yours.
Yeah. But were you ever worried about me at any point? Where
Oh
you
no,
felt
trust me, I wasn't worried about you.
really?
Yeah, no. Trust me, sincerely, sincerely.
Yes.
You have that.
Was it like I was confident at home, but then when I now went outside into
Exactly,
a
yes.
different environment, things shifted.
Yes.
And I had to come back home, kind of drink from the well
Yeah, and then you go. So
again.
yours was more like you got the support at home. So that brought out the best you can be at home.
I promise you, we need people like you
Yes,
because
we do. You see, the same thing, sorry, the same thing we're talking about. You see, in my days, you want to do special education, your parents will kill you first,
yeah.
literally. You want to do special education. What is,
Education.
would that put food on your table? You want to be doing Jackie Chan with your hand. That means you'll be doing sign language. You know,
Yeah.
the way they will ridicule the profession.
Wow.
It's not going to encourage any person
But
to want to go into special education. But awareness is coming up strongly. People have started accepting the fact that special education has come to stay.
how would you compare the healthcare system in Nigeria and outside?
Well, for the Nigerian system, just like everything, so you see a lot of things not in place because we are a developing country. Okay, as one of the developing countries, healthcare, education, those major areas, is still a bit of struggle. And coming to hearing aids, for example, we still import all the hearing aids.
This section is called the vulnerable closer.
Uh-huh.
But I would, before we get there, which is probably one of the last few questions, if you could give advice to other speech therapists working with deaf children, especially in places with limited resources like Nigeria, what would you say to them?
For speech therapists out there, I would advise them to first study the child, know the child preference, the child's learning style.
Yes.
It's very important so that if you're able to meet the child halfway, then you will be able to provide or develop materials that will help the child to learn.
Thank you. So where
How do
can
you
people
post?
reach you if
Yeah, my
they want to
phone,
buy?
my number.
I should put your
Yeah,
number
just
in the
put my number there,
description.
is better.
Okay.
The number has WhatsApp. So
Okay.
I think that's better.
So do you have anything else that you want to say?
I'll
before
say
we
yo,
close?
continue to be yo. And I
Thank
want
you.
that big hug.
Oh my God. Thank you
Thank
so
you
much.
very much Yo-Yo, for this
But yeah,
opportunity. Thank you for
thank
this
you.
opportunity. I'm happy you're doing well, and I'm happy that you are like a crusader that is with that touch, that is lighting path for those individuals living with disabilities. I'm sure you are going to give them that path to greatness. Yeah, and big thank you for making a change in your generation and continue to shine. And your light will never dim by the grace of Almighty God. I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
Here's another success story. All
Thank you
glory be
guys
to
for
God Almighty
watching.
for that.
So thank you for watching, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.